Well, you did hear some Ghanaians on the streets on the controversial electronic levy, some threatening to withdraw their mobile money, funds from their various wallets. Well, let's also move to the agri sector because it also experienced some dark moments in 2021, from the bird flu to the shortage of fertilizers. The value chain of production and the cost of food at the farm gate all got impacted. Anthony Morrison is Chief Executive of the Agribusiness Chamber, and he joins us via Zoom. Anthony, we're grateful that you could join us. To you as an expert and a key player in the industry, what were the key highlights in the agri sector this year? I'm afraid we don't have Anthony on the line. We shall try and raise him back on the line. But of course, as we have been stating in the headlines, we are, of course, explaining to you the reasons why you must spend your money wisely, especially when we enter into the year 2022. So to help us understand it proper, help us, we could finance our, various projects and do that wisely, is Richmond Frimpong to help us understand. Richmond, you're joining us via Zoom. Grateful that you could join us. We're entering the new year. What particular advice do you have, especially when it comes to savings and spending or budgeting our funds?
Thank you and good evening, Charles. I think just like every year, it's very important for anybody who has been around since 2019, 2020, and even this very year to be very cautious about what savings can do for you. What savings can do for anybody is what we call financial immunity. We have gotten into a time where globally there are a lot of crises. And so the only buffer, the only thing you turn away to when there are challenges or there are difficulties with your finances is a minimum of your 6 months regular income savings. That helps you sort you out anytime you are challenged. And so the advice I will give anybody preparing to to enter or experience 2022 is to take savings as serious as you have probably never taken before. And most importantly, save to build immunity for a minimum of 6 months, i.e. using your regular income can take care of you just in case you have a challenge with your regular income.
So saving your first 6 months of regular income, how can you do that? Especially let's picture it for someone who earns 1,000 cedis a month.
Very simple. So for anybody who earns even 500 or less, one thing you have to know is that financial immunity and the conversation about building immunity for your finances has really no respect for how much you earn. It is almost like a priority you must take serious. And so one thing you can do is to look at your expenses, because that is where the problem is. And usually for anybody, irrespective of how much you earn, your expenses are either statutory or discretionary.
Great.
By statutory mean they are expenses you can barely do anything about. You have to spend on them. And then by discretionary, they are expenses that you have the choice to make them. And nothing happens to you. For example,
and of course, I do know, Richmond, that you have encapsulated all these advice in a book you have published, New Year, New Beginnings. Help us understand some snippets in this particular publication and how our audience must, apply themselves to the nuggets that you have introduced in this book.
Right. So in the New Year Fresh Start, for example, I share about these two types of expenses. And for those whose incomes are very little, one of the things you do is that you save the discretionary part of your income, where you are able to now use them to put into regular investment schemes that can return some interest for you in addition to the earnings you make on your regular work. And when you do, you notice that you earn something at the end of the month for the work you do. And then what you would have put aside also gives you something. So then you build multiple streams.
Indeed.
And it takes care of your very urgent needs going into the new year.
Indeed impressive. Richmond, we're grateful that you could join us, and we're also grateful that you could help us with your submissions in the course of this year through various analysis and, of course, various reactions to matters regarding the economy. We're grateful once again for your time, and we wish you the best of 2022. Well, that was Richmond Frimpong there with some nuggets for 2022.